What is going on, guys? It's Skills here and welcome back to another Call of Duty Modern Warfare Operation Guide. Today we're talking about Operation Paladin and we're going to tell you how to complete this, and also that will let you unlock Rodion, one of the characters you can use in multiplayer and also co-op on Modern Warfare. So this mission, as always, we need to start off with what we're going to have before we actually go into the mission. So to begin with, you should sort your munitions out. So munitions are kind of like kill streaks, however you need to unlock them through getting a certain amount of points. The more points you rack up, the better the kind of munitions you can use. For this particular one, the essential munition that we need is going to be the sentry gun or the sentry turret, whatever you want to call it. This is going to come vital in a later part in this mission, where it's basically going to do the work for you while you try to take as minimal damage as possible. You can pick other munitions for this, like airstrikes, etc. However, on this mission there's a lot of munitions that you can actually just pick up, and they're mainly kind of ammo crates and airstrikes. I've not once found a munition pickup which has been a sentry gun, so that's why I highly recommend purchasing the sentry gun before you go into battle here. Also, it's always key to have the medic role. You want to make sure everyone is the medic role. I know in this particular playthrough not everyone was the medic as far as I'm aware, however I highly recommend it. It just means if you're the last man standing and 3 of your guys are down, you can pick them up, and also as a team you can tactically use this speciality, and it should keep you from dying and should help you to pass the missions. Another thing, in terms of weapon loadout, I always advise having a light machine gun and also a shield. Shield is good for damage when you're having to stay in a particular area where there's lots of enemies coming at you, and the light machine gun has a massive ammo capacity which allows you to fire at a lot of enemies at the same time. So when you're trying to pick off as many people as possible in a short period of time, light machine guns are very useful. Obviously the downside to having a light machine gun is it takes a little bit longer to reload, but hopefully while you are reloading your team will back you up. If you are waiting for your team to come back in and you don't have any ammo, obviously just switch to the shield, go in a corner, and it will help your team come back in the game. But let's get into the actual operation itself, now that we've covered what you need before you start the game. So as I say, this is Operation Paladin. For the first part of this operation, it's pretty easy. You're going to take an AVT or a quad bike, whatever you want to call it. It's not a quad bike, but you know, it's similar. You're going to drive yourself to a little PC. You're going to want to hack it. Now for this you need to stand next to it. It needs to be at least one person next to this. So this is where having things like a shield comes in handy. Maybe one person sits next to this while it gets hacked, and then the other 3 members of your team just pick off everyone that comes towards you, and it means they don't all need to sit next to this objective. Just have one guy with a shield at the objective and the other 3 picking them off. So here's a few examples here of what you have to do. Just kind of keep yourselves nice and compact, watch the enemies coming, pick each other up, only use your speciality if you really need to, but to be fair, this particular part is pretty easy. As you see, we got down a few times, but other than that it's pretty easy. Now once the data has been transferred, you'll then get the location of the doctor that you need to rescue. One person will basically pick her up. They will only have a pistol, you can't aim in, you can't really do much once you have her picked up. So the other 3 members of your team will need to kind of look left and right, and also one looking forward and occasionally look behind while you make your way to the next objective to protect the doctor, and also your teammates. Make sure everyone is safe. Now as you can see, normally I start with just one munition. The mission we talked about was the sentry gun. So that leaves me 2 spaces, 2 slots that I can pick up other munitions. Normally I'll pick up ammo crates as much as possible. If I see duplicate ammo crates, I'll put one down, reload my ammo, then I'll pick up another ammo crate, and it just means you're always keeping yourself nice and stocked up on ammunition, and it also helps your teammates out as well. Another thing that's quite useful using is a cruise missile. If you have a duplicate cruise missile, you can use one then pick the other one up, and it just is nice and handy. If you see munitions on the floor and there are good munitions, it's always worthwhile to use them because they'll always help you out. So as I say, once you have got the doctor to the objective, as I say, just keep nice and compact together. You're going to want to put her in one of the bathrooms, keep her nice and safe there, and you basically need to guard her. Now, depending on how many people have sentry guns, you can lay a little sentry gun in the pool area here, and it'll basically take off lots of enemies. If you have managed to pick up something like a cluster strike, you can fire that just outside the entrance to this particular area, and that should keep the enemies sorted for a wee while. Again, in the bathrooms there does seem to be a lot of kind of munitions that will help you out anyway, so ammo crates and other kind of air artillery which will help you out. This bit is pretty easy anyway, but as long as you are keeping compact, keeping the doctor safe. I like planting mines as well behind, because sometimes the enemies do come from behind, and it's good to keep yourself protected if they do try to rush it up. And it is useful to keep yourself protected if they do try to rush up on you. But yeah, you keep yourself here for a few minutes, waiting for an LZ to come and pick the doctor and yourselves up. I normally head out the back door with my team, as there's more protection for you, there's less kind of ways the enemies can shoot you. And again, if you do have enough ammo, stock up on ammo before you get on the LZ, and all you need to do is go with your team nice and compact, stock up if you have to, and take it to the LZ point. And once you've done that, you'll then fly into the next kind of section of this game. So in this part of the operation, you will be defending a tank. Now, in order for the tank to progress, you need to make sure you take out people with rocket launchers, RPGs, etc. And you also have to have one person next to the tank, otherwise it literally will not move, it will just stay still, and that is why you need to escort it. It doesn't just say defend the tank, you need to escort it. Now, normally what I would do would have 2 people going on the right hand side of this map and 2 on the left. Normally I go right, and pick up as many RPG carriers or as many rocket launcher carriers as possible. But as I say, 2 sets of 2 on either flank is very helpful. Once you've picked them off, obviously you can then go back to the tank, and it will start moving again. But this is my route that you can see here, just picking off the enemies from behind, getting some nice clean headshots, as obviously they die quicker. And like I discussed before, you can pick up things like cruise missiles, ammo boxes, and fire them into the enemies, because normally with these particular munitions you will find other ones on the ground. As you make your way here, again you need to make sure you're next to the tank, otherwise it will not move. It's very helpful with your LMG to take out enemies that are coming in, so enemies coming in trucks, enemies coming in any kind of vehicle, any helicopters, etc. Spray them before they actually get to you, and the vehicle will blow up. It just saves you a lot of time and means you can progress forward. Normally I'll go into this little warehouse here and see if there's any munitions that will help us out. It's always good to have a little look just while you have some time. Now, once you have got the tank into what looks like a kind of IKEA parking lot, as I say, you need to escort it there, otherwise it won't move. So once you've got it into the IKEA parking lot, there will be waves coming at you. Now, for the waves to start, there is a little crate on one of the kind of sections of the car park. All you need to do is go up to the crate and take a picture of it. You'll know you've done this, as enemies will then start swarming towards you. Each wave is a little bit more difficult than the last. There'll be more enemies coming in. As you can see, I normally drop off the top of the IKEA roof and jump down to the second roof, as it's got lots of kind of wee areas that I can take cover from. And also because I've got my medic role, it means if my team does get downed, I can pick them up, because I've got lots of protection around me and I know I won't die. And as you can see, I've got things like cluster strikes that I can use from this position. I've got a nice vantage point on the enemies, just picking them off. Obviously it might not be useful having everyone up here, because as part of this section you need to defend the crate. So basically, if you don't defend it properly, they'll plant a bomb. The defuse time is not that, so the defuse time is quite quick, but the enemies plant the bomb really quickly. So you'll see them all kind of running towards the crate. so you just need to make sure you get nice and close to the crate and defuse the bomb if you have to. If you do manage to defend the crate properly, then there won't be any bombs planted. This one's relatively easy if you follow the strats that I've just said there. Use shields if you have to, but light machine guns. For the guys in the ground, again, just watch each other's back, stay nice and compact, but as long as you've got one person in my position, then it means you can always pick them up if you have to, if they do get down. Worst case scenario, you stay up there, and they'll drop down after they can respawn. But as I say, for this little part, it is a little bit more difficult, just because they do plant bombs. So if you are the last guy and they plant a bomb, you will need to run in and defuse it. So just try and play it a little bit more tactical there. Take your time, pick off enemies from all angles. That's really the best advice for this part. If someone else does have a sentry gun, obviously plant it next to the crate, as that will stop the enemies planting the bomb. Again, if you've only got one sentry gun, you're going to need it for the next crate that we're going to get to, because it's a lot more difficult, and I'll explain that now. So as I say, I'm just going to call this building the IKEA building, just because it generally just looks like an IKEA building. So you're then going to make your way to the next crate. Again, I've got a sentry gun here ready to use. If you need it, I would definitely recommend picking up ammo crates, because that's going to help you out massively, as you're probably going to run out of ammo eventually. As you can see on this particular class I've got mines, so always planting mines, because they normally just kind of come back anyway. Now the second crate is near the back of the IKEA building, and you can see there's this little kind of perch, this little ledge, that's pretty handy, and that's where I'm going to plant my sentry gun. Make sure the sentry gun's right in the middle, as that's going to help you humongously. It's basically going to pick off enemies that are coming to try and plant the bomb. Obviously before they try to plant the bomb, you need to take a picture, just like the last crate. It's very similar, however this one is close quarters, and there's a lot of armoured enemies, and also a juggernaut comes in as well. So watch out for that. Obviously if you've got more sentry guns, plant them down, it's going to help you out as well. This is normally the section where most people fail, but the sentry gun does the job here, and combined with my shield, it's a massive help. So you can see a few of my teammates are getting downed here, but we worked well as a team, making sure to pick each other up, making sure to use good decision choices, and only rush in if you have to. But as you can see, the juggernaut comes in here, so we're all kind of blasting them, and obviously we've got that sentry gun helping out as well. Again, you need to make sure you defuse the bomb, so having your team close to that is very helpful too. But I think on this particular part, my sentry gun was doing most of the work, and that's why it's very vital to have a sentry gun in this particular part. It's pretty much impossible without a sentry gun unless you're all fucking amazing, but it's going to help you hugely. So once you have defended the second crate, there's going to be a third crate. This bit's quite hard, however I found it a little bit easier just because you're not as close quarters. It's a little bit easier to see the enemies coming towards you. There's juggernauts, there's tanks, and I know that sounds like a lot of effort, but if you've got any airstrike munitions, so you call in a cruise missile or a cluster strike, that's going to help you out. You can also shoot the tank with your LMG, that's going to help towards that as well. This particular arms crate is in the back of the lorry, and it's like part of a nuke, and the core's missing, but the core we got on one of the other operations. And you basically just need to defend it. You're going to have enemies coming in through tanks, enemies coming through from the sky, and juggernauts. Again, if you somehow still have a sentry gun, you can plant a sentry gun right next to the arms crate. If not, on this particular part, I wouldn't stay too compact. I would make sure everyone's in a different corner, and picking off enemies from different corners. If people do start to go down, then maybe try to be a bit more compact, and make sure, as I say, you're using your medic roll tactically. So don't everyone use it within the space of like a minute of each other. Make sure you're doing it within the space of like maybe 3-5 minutes, so everyone has a chance to revive each other. It's probably the best way of doing it. So whoever does have the medic role available, they need to be a bit more defensive and not go in attacking, as they're going to be vital to picking up their team. So just to confirm again, whoever is got the medic speciality, ready to use. They need to play a little bit more defensive so that if their teammates go down, they can pick them up. But yeah, as I say, you will have juggernauts, you will have armoured enemies coming in here as well. They are quite tricky. Just go for the headshots. Juggernauts, as always, shoot them together. The more people firing LMG rounds at a juggernaut, the better. That's going to help you out massively. This bit is difficult. Obviously, these videos are tactics and guides. It's not saying that you're guaranteed to pass these. You still need to be good players. You still need to be doing things smartly, not rushing in when you don't have to, etc. Again, having ammo crates is really vital because you will run out of ammo quite quickly just because there is so many enemies about. So make sure you're sharing your ammo with each other. Once you've taken out the tanks, etc., you'll then need to pick up the core. You'll then have a helicopter coming towards you, which you can make your way towards. There will be a few enemies trying to stop you. As you can see, I got downed a few times. A lot of my teammates got downed a few times, so do expect to go down. As long as you're working together, they should pick you back up. But as you see, we passed with flying colours here and played through this really nicely. Made our way to the LZ, picked off the enemies, and there we go, flying away home with a mission accomplished. So yeah guys, that is basically the strats for this particular mission to unlock Rodion, and also just in general do Operation Paladin. But yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this. If you've not done the other operations, I have the guides up for them on my channel already, so make sure to subscribe and make sure to like the video. I do appreciate any feedback as well. If there's anything you think we should improve on in the channel, just let us know. But yeah guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.